Okay, so today we are going to be working towards eagle pose. For those of you that know eagle pose, it's the one where you your arms are wrapped around, your legs are wrapped around, you're balancing on one leg. It's quite fun to give it to try. So we'll be doing that, we'll be working towards that. And yeah, I have noticed actually all my poses this week have been nature related. We did tree on Monday, crow yesterday, and eagle today, and it was Earth Day a couple of days ago. So yes, all tying in very nicely. As always, please listen to your body, listen to yourself. If anything doesn't feel right, then please come out of the pose. This is quite kind of into our hips and into our shoulders, so if you do just have any niggles anywhere, just be mindful. I'll try and give different options for things, you know, just in case you have got really tight shoulders, etc. We can work with that. So yeah, just being mindful of your body and how you're feeling today. As always, moving with the breath, so I will be guiding inhales and exhales. Please just follow your breathing. Obviously I'm there just to guide you, so as long as your breath remains slow and steady, that's the most important thing. If you can follow your breathing with mine, then great, but don't worry too much about that. And yeah, I think that's about it. So we shall get started, and we're going to start lying down on our backs. So just bending up your knees, feet nice and wide, and then knees just resting in towards each other. Just making sure your spine is nice and long. So maybe just, especially around the back of your neck, you can maybe just take your hands to the back of your neck, kind of lift up your head and really stretch out the back of your neck, and then lower your head back down. So your chin may be slightly tucked towards your chest. And let's bring our arms into a cactus shape. So kind of elbows up at shoulder height, fingertips pointing up behind you. If that is too intense on your shoulders, then you can bring the arms just down by your side, that's fine. But just nice to start opening up the chest, relaxing down the backs of the shoulders. And taking some nice deep breaths when we are here, maybe closing down the eyes. Just taking our few moments at the beginning of the class just to settle in. Just starting to be aware of our body, our breathing, how we're feeling, just checking in. No judgment. Just bringing your awareness to you. This next hour is just for you. So just quietening the mind, letting go of anything that might have happened today or that you're thinking about for later, just bringing it all back to you, your body, your breathing. Taking some nice deep breaths, filling your body, filling your chest, your lungs, your belly with air. And exhaling, releasing, softening, letting go. Taking a couple more rounds of nice deep breathing, and then just letting your breath return to normal. Just starting to gently sway the knees from side to side, getting some gentle movement into the hips. So keeping the feet nice and wide. And then bringing the knees to center. We'll bring the knees up to a tabletop position. So starting with a bit of core work, bringing the legs up. So we want the knees directly above the hips, kind of toes pointing forward, so your shins are parallel with the ceiling. And we want to be pushing our lower back into the ground, so really engaging our core here. You can bring the hands down by the side, or even on top of the hip bones actually. That'll be useful for what we're doing next. So, option here. We're going to move the left leg first, so we can either keep the right leg where it is for a bit more of a challenge, or we can drop the right leg down to the ground so the foot's flat on the ground. Up to you. With the left leg, we're going to drop the knee out to the side and then sweep the leg down and round, straightening the leg out and then bringing it back up to tabletop. And then keeping doing that. So we want both hips flat on the ground, so keep your hands on your hip bones. Just making sure your hips aren't rising. And then that right leg you can either keep up in your tabletop, which is stronger in your core, or you can drop that foot down to the ground. So just taking some nice big circles with that left hip. Okay, bringing the left knee to stillness. Time for the right side. So again, we can either just drop that left foot down to the ground. If you want a bit more of a challenge, leave the left knee up in tabletop. And then dropping the right leg down to the side, straightening it out, and then back to tabletop. So nice big sweeping circles with that right foot. And really working into the hip joint, just making sure that left hip doesn't leave the mat. So for those that joined a bit later, we're working towards eagle pose today. So that's where it's a balance on one leg, but it's where our kind of legs are wrapped around each other and our arms are wrapped around. So lots of hip and shoulder work today. And always core, always some core work to do. Okay, taking one more nice big sweep with that leg, and then we can squeeze the knees into the chest. Having a little rock and roll around. And then keeping our legs lifted, we're just going to cross our right knee over our left. And then bringing our left foot down to the ground. So this is kind of what our eagle legs are going to look like in our balance. If we can wrap that right foot around the back of the left calf, but we won't do that just now, but just for future reference in the balance, that's the full pose. So for now, just lowering the left knee down to the ground, and we're just going to sway the knees from side to side. And we can take slightly bigger sways, really rolling onto the hips, trying to keep our shoulders flat on the ground. And then next time that knee comes over to the left, just pausing over at the left. So coming into a little bit of a twist. And then bringing the knees up to center. Taking the arms, we're going to wrap our left arm over our right and just give ourselves a bit of a hug. So just hold on to the back of our shoulders. And then we'll take some little crunches. So lifting the elbow up towards the knee. So if we can, just touching that right knee with our right elbow. So just little mini crunches. Couple more. And relaxing down. Unraveling the arms, unraveling the legs. We'll cross the left leg over the right this time. Bringing the right foot down to the mat. And then just taking some gentle sways from side to side with your hips. Making the sways bigger and bigger, keeping your shoulders on the ground, so just working into the lower spine, the hips. And then next time that knee comes over to the right, just pausing over to the right. Just opening up that space around the side, the back of that hip, into your lower back. And then bringing the legs up to center. This time we'll cross the right arm over the left arm. Again, just gently kind of holding onto the backs of the shoulders. And then taking our little crunch movement. So bringing the knees up to meet the elbows up to meet the knees. And then relaxing, unraveling, coming into our nice pencil stretch, stretching it all out. Arms up overhead, pointing the toes. And then bending the knees in. We'll take a little rock and roll to come up to seating. So just however you get up to your seated position, rocking and rolling, or maybe just coming onto your side and pushing yourself up. So coming to sit cross-legged. Completely up to you if you want to sit on a block, just to help support the hips. Then that can be nice for your hips and nice for your spine. So just finding your cross-legged position, just resting the hands down on the knees. Lengthening through the spine, maybe closing down the eyes, softening the shoulders. Taking a couple of nice deep breaths here. Just noticing how your body is feeling after that little bit of movement, how your hips are feeling, how your spine's feeling. Might not be feeling anything, which is fine, but just checking in. And then just taking our neck stretches, so left ear down to left shoulder, and kind of sweeping down and round, right ear to right shoulder. Just moving intuitively, so just pausing where you might need to. You need to take a little bit of a gaze up towards the ceiling, maybe. Just finding your neck stretch. Okay, bringing the head back up to center. Just taking some gentle shoulder movements, so circling the shoulders up and back. Taking some circles the other way. And then just melting them back and down, reaching the arms out, opening the arms up wide, opening the chest, really kind of pulling the arms. You feel like someone's grabbing your thumbs and pulling them back towards you. And then coming in with your right arm over left first, giving yourself a bit of a hug, opening up again. And then left arm over right. So just try and alternate which arm is coming on top each time. Inhaling as you open up, exhaling as you fold in. So just following your breath with your movement. Okay, take a nice big inhale, opening up the arms. Bringing the arms into a cactus position. We're going to bring our right arm over our left arm. We can then just place the arms on the shoulders. That's option number one. If we want a bit more, we can bring our hands back to back. Option number two. And then option number three is to kind of twist that left palm so it wraps around to meet your right palm. So your arms are kind of twisted round. These are our eagle arms. So wherever you are, just pulling the elbows away from you, pulling the hands away from you if your hands are up in the air, and just feeling that stretch across the top of your back, into the shoulders. So just finding your position wherever it may be, and then just working on that, lifting the elbows up and away. Okay, unraveling the arms, reaching out again. Back into cactus. This time we'll go left over right. So left elbow over right. Again, maybe just bringing your hands to your shoulders. We can bring the hands back to back, or we can twist right round. Don't worry if your hands don't quite go right round, that's absolutely fine. Back to back is good. And then wherever you are, just concentrate on lifting those elbows up and away, feeling that stretch through the shoulders. It might be very different on each side, as always, so just be mindful of your shoulders. Be careful not to overstretch. Good, okay, unraveling, giving your shoulders, giving your arms a bit of a shake. So we will be doing those arms throughout the sequence, so just remembering which option works for you. We'll come through onto all fours, so just removing any support, placing it to the side. Bringing our hands underneath our shoulders and knees underneath our hips. Nice wide hands, pressing down through our palms, through our fingers, through our thumb, really using the whole hand. Coming into our cat-cows, so inhaling, gazing forward, belly dips down to the ground. Exhaling, curving up the other way, just letting the head hang. And then inhaling, coming through to our cow pose. Exhaling into our cat. Nice mindful movement through the spine. It's a nice gentle curving, using our core, pushing down through the hands, down through the knees and the tops of the feet. So legs are active here, whole body is active. Okay, coming through to our neutral spine. Reaching forward with the left fingertips up to the top corner of our mat, and then sweeping back and around, coming into our nice big circles. Really reaching the hand up and high all the way around. Inhaling to come up, exhaling to come down. And then next time your hand is pointing up to the ceiling, let's pause here. Take a nice big inhale. And as we exhale, we're just going to scoop that hand down and through the gap between our, like underneath our right shoulder. And then as we inhale, we're going to pull it back again. So inhaling up, exhaling, just pointing it through. Inhaling up, exhaling, pointing it through. Inhaling up. And this time as we exhale, we're going to come through, we're going to lay that hand on the ground, bring the shoulder down to the ground, the side of the head down to the ground. So you're coming into a bit of a twisted shoulder stretch here. Just having a little play around, seeing what works for you, seeing where your shoulder needs to be, just to get that nice little stretch around the back of the left shoulder. Your right hand can be next to your face, it can be a little bit further up the mat. You can even bring the right hand round and place it on your lower back. Lots of options here, so just have a play around. Okay, wherever your right hand may be, bringing it back beside your face, pushing up with that hand, releasing your left hand, giving it a shake, placing it back down on the mat. Okay, right hand side, reaching forward with our right fingertips, sweeping down, up and round. So inhaling up, exhaling down. Really extending out through the fingertips, extending out through the arm, working into that shoulder. And next time your hands pointing up towards the ceiling, pausing there, nice big inhale. As we exhale, just sweeping it down and through. Inhaling back up, exhaling down and through. Inhaling up, exhaling down and through. One more time, inhaling up. And then exhaling this time, laying the arm on the ground, lowering the shoulder to the ground, the side of the head to the ground. And then just making the twist, making the stretch your own. So just having a little bit of a play around, maybe bringing that hand onto your back. The hand can come further up the mat or just resting by the side of your face. Just following your breathing here, nice slow breathing. Opening up the back of the shoulders nice and gently. Okay, wherever your left hand is, bringing it back down beside your face, pushing up through the left hand and coming back to all fours. Coming into our child's pose, so just bringing the knees wide, toes together, hips back and down, walking the hands forward, really pushing those hips back as far as you can, and then lowering the head, the elbows, the arms down to the mat. So taking some nice deep breaths here. Full inhales, full exhales, fully letting go. Releasing around the hips, the shoulders, the back of the neck. And then bringing ourselves up, bringing your head up, lifting yourself out back into our all fours. We're going to tuck the toes under, pushing down with the hands, lifting the hips up nice and high, coming into our downward dog. So you're just being gentle in our first downward dog, pedaling the legs out, so just bending into one leg first, then the other. Trying to get those hips nice and high, strong through the hands and arms. And then finding a bit of stillness, melting the heels down, bending the knees is fine. Remember, we're really after length in the spine here. That's our priority. So bending the knees to get the length in the spine. And then we're going to shift our weight forward into our plank pose. So shoulders over wrists. Nice, strong, straight legs, pushing back through the heels. Lowering the knees down to the mat, we're untucking the toes, pausing here in our half plank pose. We're going to extend the right leg out behind us and then bring that right knee up to meet the right elbow or as close to it as you can. And then extending the leg out, knee to elbow, extending the leg out, knee to elbow. 2 more times, extending the leg out, knee to elbow, really working into those hips. Extend out, knee to elbow. And then placing that right knee back on the mat. Same on the left-hand side. Extending the left leg out. Then bringing that left knee up to meet that left elbow. Extend the leg out. Strong through the core, strong through the shoulders. Knee to elbow. 2 more times. Knee to elbow. Stretch out. Knee to elbow. Stretch out. And bringing the left knee down. Good. Lowering down to the mat, squeezing the elbows in with control, nice and slowly. All the way down. When we are there, just lifting up one leg, then the other, pointing the toes out behind us. So feeling like someone's kind of stretching your leg away from you and then lowering it back down. Just creating some space in the front of the hips. And then we want to firm up our legs, so really pushing into the mat with the tops of our feet so you can feel your kneecaps lifting. Placing our hands underneath our shoulders as we inhale, slowly just peeling the chest up off the mat. And exhaling down. Inhaling into our cobra, exhaling down. Keeping those legs firm. So really working into the back muscles here. Okay, coming down onto the mat, we can maybe just lower our forehead onto the mat. We're going to bring our arms into the cactus position. So elbows at shoulder height, fingertips pointing forward. And then keeping our head down on the mat, we're just going to bring our arms up behind us. So squeezing the shoulder blades together. So as we inhale, let's lift up the arms, exhale down. Inhale, lifting up the arms, squeezing the shoulder blades, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Okay. Taking a little pause. Next time we inhale up, we're going to bring our head, our chest, our arms all up together, keeping our legs firm on the mat. So pressing down with the tops of our feet. As we inhale, let's lift up our head, our chest, our arms, squeezing the shoulder blades together, using our back muscles, remembering to breathe while we're here. And exhaling down. One more time, inhaling up. Breathing, feeling that strength in your back, exhaling down, good. Just having a little rest here, maybe wiggling your hips, loosening your spine up, and then bringing your hands back underneath your shoulders, pushing up through our hands and knees, tucking the toes under into our downward facing dog. So hopefully the body's feeling nice and warm and loosened up. Taking whatever movements in your down dog you need. And then really pushing down through the hands, melting the chest down towards the knees, finding that openness in the armpits. And melting the heels down towards the floor. Feet hip distance apart, heels tucked behind the toes. Looking forward, we're going to step and walk ourselves forward up to the front of the mat. Let's bring our feet nice and wide. Coming into our ragdoll position, holding onto opposite elbows. But let's take a nice wide stance and really kind of sway from side to side. So really getting into these hip sockets, into the hip flexors. Nice bend in the knees. Just let the head hang heavy. Maybe giving the head a bit of a shake and a nod. And then lowering the hands down to the mat, we'll just wiggle our feet back to hip distance apart, toes pointing forward. And let's uncurl ourselves all the way up to standing, reaching up nice and high with the arms. And exhaling down, bringing our hands into our prayer position in front of our heart center. And just taking a couple of breaths here in our Tadasana, mountain pose. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Firming up the thighs, grounding down through the feet. So nice strong standing pose here. On an inhale, let's sweep the arms up high. And exhale, fold forward, bending into the knees, folding at the hips. Inhale into our halfway lift, flattening the back, straightening the spine. Hands can come to the shins. Exhale, hands come to the mat. We're going to step back with our left leg, lowering the left knee down, low lunge, sweeping the arms up high. Making sure that front knee is over the front ankle, relaxing down the shoulders. Bringing our right hand behind us, left arm in front, coming into our twist. So strong through the legs here. And then we're going to sweep the right arm down, left arm up, twisting the other way. So now the right arm is forward, left arm behind. Just watch that front knee isn't flopping in, so keep that front knee directly over that ankle. Then bringing our hands to our cactus, we're going to come into our eagle arms. So we're going to go left arm over right, and then finding your variation. So whichever variation was working for you when we were sat down, take that variation now. And wherever we are, let's just really pull those elbows away from us, trying to keep the spine nice and tall, strong through the legs. And then unraveling, reaching both arms up to the sky and coming down, framing that front foot. Let's take a vinyasa, so stepping back into plank. Remember, you can always lower down to half plank, lowering down into the mat. Inhaling into your back bend, exhaling down, pushing up into our downward facing dog. Lifting the hips up nice and high, pushing down through the hands, broadening through the shoulders, relaxing the head. Looking forward, walking or stepping up to the front of the mat, coming into our halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweeping all the way up to the sky. And we'll come all the way back down again, exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, stepping back with our right foot this time, low lunge. Sweeping the arms up high, relaxing down the shoulders. Bringing our left arm back, right arm forward this time into our twist. Keeping those legs strong. Then sweeping that left arm down, right arm up, twisting the other way. So our left arm is now forward, right arm back, and just watching that left knee doesn't fall inwards. Bringing our arms to cactus, this time bringing our right arm over our left, finding our cactus arm variation, wherever that may be, and then really concentrate on pulling the elbows up and away, keeping strong through the legs, lifting up out of the hips, grounding down through the points of contact with the air. And then unraveling the arms, reaching up to the sky, and coming back down through our vinyasa, so stepping back into plank. Remember, always lowering the knees if you need to, lowering down to the mat. Inhaling, back bend, exhaling down, pushing up into our downward facing dog. Giving the head a little shake, releasing the neck, but strong through the hands, grounding down through the feet. Looking forward, stepping up towards the front of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping up to standing. And exhale into our Tadasana mountain pose, bringing the feet together, squeezing the feet together, squeezing the legs together, sinking down into our squat, our Utkatasana, awkward chair pose. Let's sweep the arms down, reach the arms forward, sink the hips nice and low, strong through the thighs. Keeping the weight back in the heels. And then we're slowly just going to lift the left foot up, reach the left foot back, coming into our high lunge. So you might just need to wiggle that left foot back, sinking down into the hips, reaching up with the hands. Pivoting on that back foot, coming into our warrior two. So back foot parallel with the back edge of the mat, arms out at shoulder height. Bringing the hands behind us, clasping the hands, trying to straighten the arms if we can. Don't worry too much if you can't. We're going to bow forward into our humble warrior. Just bowing the chest inside that right leg. Strong through the legs here, really pushing back into that back foot. Nice big inhale, lifting ourselves up. Unclasping our hands, leaving our left hand where it is on our back. We're going to reach our right arm all the way up and over into our reverse warrior. Keeping a nice bend in that front knee. Coming into our side angle, so right elbow comes to our right knee, left arm up and over. Trying to find a nice straight line all the way through the foot, the leg, the hip, the rib cage, all the way up to the fingertips. So we're all going to lift that right arm up as well, using our core, reaching forward, pivoting on that back foot, coming back into our high lunge. And we're going to take the weight into our front foot. So kind of hopping that leg forward, bringing the knee up into our balance, and then stepping back into our high lunge again. Bringing the hands down, framing that front foot, stepping back. Let's take a vinyasa. Lowering down to the mat, inhaling into our back bend, exhaling down, pushing up through hands and knees, tucking the toes under, downward dog. Looking forward, walking or stepping up to the front of the mat, Bringing our feet together, so squeezing the legs together, we'll come straight back into our Utkatasana. So staying nice and low, weight back in the heels, reaching the arms forward. Tucking that tailbone under, so lengthening down through the spine. This time we're just going to slowly lift our right leg up. Leap of faith backwards, step that right foot backwards, finding our high lunge position. Pivoting on that back foot into our warrior two. Making sure that front knee is tracking over that front toe. Reaching out with the back hand, reaching out with the front hand, taking the gaze forward. And then clasping our hands behind our back. Straightening the arms if we can. And then bowing forward into our humble warrior. Strong through the legs here, really grounding down through the feet. Focusing on your breathing, slow and steady. Lifting ourselves up. Keeping our right hand just resting on our lower back. Left arm comes up and over. Reverse warrior. And then cartwheeling down into our side angle, reaching up and over with our right fingertips. This, of course, so reaching up with our left fingertips. And then pivoting on that back leg, finding our high lunge again. Bringing our weight into our front foot, lifting up our right knee, finding our balance, and then leap of faith back again. Good. Bringing the hands down, vinyasa, stepping back with that left leg, lowering down to the mat. Inhaling back bend. Exhaling down, pushing up into our downward facing dog. Always just taking any moves you need in your down dog. If you need to paddle out the legs, maybe just kind of sway a little bit from side to side. Looking forward, stepping or walking up to the front of the mat, halfway lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, sweeping up to the sky. And exhaling into our mountain pose. Okay, we're going to do that whole sequence again, but bringing our eagle into it. So we're going to bring our eagle into the end of the sequence on each side. So we know what we're doing. Coming down into our Utkatasana first. Strong through the legs, squeezing those legs together. Lifting up our left leg, stepping it back, high lunge. Pivoting into our warrior two. Bringing the hands behind, clasping the hands, maybe clasping the other way if you can, so bringing the other little pinky on the bottom. And then bowing down into our humble warrior. Lifting ourselves up into our reverse, so the right arm sweeps up and over, bending into that front knee. And then right arm to right thigh, left fingertips stretching up, side angle pose. Reaching up with our right fingertips as well, and then pivoting on that back foot, whoop, high lunge. Then bringing the weight into our front foot, coming into our eagle. So lifting our left knee nice and high. We're going to cross our left knee over our right. Bring our hands into cactus. And then it's right arm over left. So finding your eagle arms, finding your eagle legs. Once we are there, pulling those elbows up and away. Sinking the hips down. Don't worry if you wobble or fall. And then unraveling, lifting that left knee nice and high, stepping back into our high lunge, bringing the hands down to the mat, Stepping back into our plank, lowering down to the floor, inhaling, exhaling, down and back into our downward dog. Looking forward, stepping up to the front of our mat, keeping our feet together, squeezing the legs together, coming straight into our Utkatasana. This time the right leg lifts, stepping the right leg back into our high lunge. Warrior two. Clasping the hands, maybe the other way this time, and bowing down into our humble warrior. Strong, straight back leg. Lifting ourselves up, unclasping the hands, sweeping the left arm up and over, reverse warrior. And then left arm to left thigh, right fingertips up and over, side angle. Left arm comes up to join the right arm, pivoting on that back foot, high lunge, taking the weight forward, lifting up that right knee nice and high, and then bringing the right leg over the left, arms into cactus. Ooh, thank God for the bean. And then it's left arm over right, so finding your eagle arms. Lifting the elbows up and away, finding your balance, sinking lower if you can. And then unraveling, lifting that right leg nice and high. Stepping back, high lunge. And hands down to the mat, stepping back into our plank. Last vinyasa, lowering down to the mat. Inhaling into your back bend, exhaling up into our downward facing dog. Bringing the knees down, keeping the knees together, feet together, sinking the hips down. We'll come into child's pose, but a closed knee child's pose. So keeping the knees together rather than apart, just lowering the head down to the mat. And then just letting your hands come down beside you. So tops of the hands are down on the mat. So just fully relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms. All curled up in your little ball. And then slowly uncurling yourself, kind of leaving your hands where they are. We're going to come all the way back, lowering the hands down onto the mat, and then just lifting the hips if we can, just opening up the front body, finding a nice stretch through the fronts of the shoulders, maybe the thighs, the fronts of the hips. And then lowering the hips down, coming through to our seated position. In fact, we're going to come straight through to lying. So swing your legs round, shiggle yourself forward on your mat a little bit, and we'll come straight through to lying down. So reaching our hands forward, uncurling all the way back. And once we are there, just squeezing our knees into our chest, giving ourselves a little rock and roll. Lowering our feet down onto the mat, coming into our bridges. So we'll just take a couple of, maybe 3 bridges here. So there'll be a couple of options. So first of all, hands down by your side, just palms facing down, tilting the pelvis up towards the sky, and then slowly peeling the spine all the way up onto your shoulders. And then slowly lowering down. And again, peeling the hips up off the ground, all the way up onto your shoulders. Option here, we can wiggle the arms underneath us, clasping the hands, and then pushing down with your hands, down with your arms, pushing the hips up nice and high. If this is too intense on your shoulders, then please just release the hands and just go back to the first option. And then releasing the hands, slowly lowering down the spine, wiggling out your shoulders all the way down. Okay, one more, completely up to you which variation you go for. So lifting up the spine, peeling up off the ground, either just staying here on your shoulders or clasping the hands again, wiggling the shoulders underneath you so you almost come onto your outer arm, and really lifting the hips up high. Remembering to breathe here, and then releasing the hands if you have them clasped. Lowering down, all the way down to the ground, good. Squeezing the knees back into the chest. Extending out the left leg, keeping the right knee in. And we'll come into our twist, so just taking that right knee up and over, maybe just shiggling the hips over to the right a little bit so you come onto the side of your hip. Keeping your shoulders grounded, right arm comes out beside you at shoulder height, just taking the gaze over towards the right fingertips. Nice, long, slow breathing here, just really relaxing into the twist, using your exhales to release. So just noticing if you're holding any tension anywhere, and releasing it as you breathe out. Bringing yourself back through center. Just bringing your hips kind of back into alignment, squeezing the knees in. And this time extending out the left leg, squeezing the right knee in, and then guiding it up and over. Again, you might just want to shimmy the hips over a little bit so you come onto the side of that right hip, and then reach out with your left fingertips. Maybe closing down the eyes. Just breathing into any tension, any tightness, letting go. And then slowly bringing yourself back through to center. Now, for those of you that have a block or any other support that you're using, if it was a book or a cushion or a rolled up towel, whatever you're using, just placing that underneath your sacrum. So your sacrum is like the flat kind of bony part right at the bottom of your spine. So you want it to be quite far down. So not touching your spine at all. And then just straightening out the legs. So we should feel a really nice opening in the front of the hips here. And a bit of a release on the lower back. So if there's any tightness in the lower back, maybe push the support down a little. So it should feel quite comfortable, quite a nice opening across the fronts of the legs and the hips that we've been working quite deeply into today. And then we can just bring the hands down by our sides, well, quite wide actually. Palms facing up. Maybe just wiggling the shoulder blades together behind you. And just starting to fully release down. If this is uncomfortable for any reason, then please just remove the support and you can just come into Shavasana a little bit early. That's absolutely fine. It's quite nice to open up the fronts of the hips. So again, it's not an area that we open very often. We're usually sat behind desks or doing exercise or sat on the sofa. wherever. So usually our hip flexors are quite compressed, so it's just a nice opening to have in the front of the body. So just staying here for a couple of minutes, again fully releasing, noticing if you have any tension anywhere, especially around the face, the forehead, the jaw, the neck, all very common areas to hold tension. And just seeing if you can release and let go. Okay, for those that do have the support under their sacrum, just bending up your legs, feet flat on the ground, just slowly lifting the hips, sliding the support away, and then just lowering your hips down to the mat, and we'll all come into our Shavasana. So bringing the legs nice and wide, the feet just flopping out to the side. Bringing the hands nice and wide, and just fully settling into your relaxation, closing down the eyes. Maybe taking a nice big breath in, full breath in, full inhale. And a nice long exhale, maybe sighing it out. All the way out. And again, nice big inhale. And long exhale, just feeling your body fully let go as you exhale all the way. One more time, nice big inhale. And this time exhaling, letting go even further, making yourself heavy, floppy, fully relaxed. And then just letting your breath return to normal. Keeping your body heavy. Fully relaxing around your feet, your toes, your ankles. Releasing around your calves, your knees, your thighs. Letting your legs feel really heavy. Fully releasing your hips, your glutes, your abdomen, your lower back. Just noticing any sensations around the areas. Noticing any tension, any tightness, and just releasing, breathing into the area, letting go. All the way up your spine, into your shoulders. We've been working so hard today, letting your shoulders just fully melt into the ground. Then traveling down your arms, into your hands. Just letting your fingers naturally curl. Letting the full weight of your arms just fall into the floor. Fully releasing around your neck, letting your head rest heavy, softening the face, allowing any tension in the forehead just to dissolve. Softening the jaw, softening the tongue. Letting the whole weight of your body just sink into the floor. Just noticing if any tension has crept up anywhere and allowing it to release. softening, letting go. Fully releasing. Then ever so slowly starting to wiggle your fingers and toes. Taking a slightly deeper breath in and a deeper breath out. Moving the hands and the feet. And then gently just coming back into our pencil stretch. So bringing the feet together, arms up and overhead. Stretching out. And then bringing the knees back into the chest, into your little ball, having a little rock and roll if you need. And then coming to rest onto your side, left or right. And then just bringing your arm under your head for a pillow. Taking some nice cleansing breaths in our little fetal position. So nice big inhale. And a nice sighing out exhale. When you are ready, bringing yourself back up into your seated position, keeping your eyes closed for now. Finding your tall spine once you're there, grounding down through the sit bones. Just feeling all the contact points of your body in the earth, so your feet, your ankles, your sit bones, feeling fully supported, and then rising up through your spine, through your neck, through the crown of the head, sitting nice and tall. Lifting the shoulders up to the ears and then just melting them back and down. And bringing your hands together into your prayer position and blinking open the eyes. Namaste, everybody. Thank you so much for joining this Thursday.